Welcome to this explainer, where we unpack a brief but vital document titled New Memo that bridges the gap between administrative military duties and essential human lifelines. So often we look at military life purely through the lens of rigid, uncompromising logistics. But what's absolutely fascinating here is how this specific memo takes that highly structured administrative world and connects it directly to the deeply essential resources we all rely on in times of need.
Okay, let's dive into this central tension. How exactly do we successfully navigate mandatory military duty right alongside the very real, often pressing need for mental health support? It's a delicate and honestly incredibly serious balance. On one hand, you've got these strict service obligations that simply have to be met. But then on the other hand, there's the absolute necessity of accessing vital mental health resources when the immense pressure of those duties inevitably mounts. We're really looking at how the human element interacts with the administrative machine today.
Part 1. Inside the new memo, 3 critical links for service and support.
So this document is remarkably straightforward. It operates like a highly focused 3-part resource sheet that gives us exactly 3 actionable avenues. First up, we have guidance on the South Korean military service process. Number 2 is support via the Veterans Crisis Line. And third, the SAMHSA National Helpline. What makes this so profound is that there's literally zero extra fluff or commentary in the document itself. It just provides the direct avenues. These are concrete, official channels designed to guide people through very specific, high-stakes situations. It really tells a story of an administration recognizing that logistical duties and mental well-being are intrinsically linked.
Let's move to and see how this builds into Part 2. South Korean service process, navigating the administrative journey. Right, so we have to start with the sheer logistical reality of these administrative obligations. The very first resource provided in the memo is a direct portal to mma.go.kr, the Military Manpower Administration. This is the starting line for individuals directed to seek formalized instructions specifically regarding the South Korean military service process. For anyone navigating this system, fully understanding the intricacies of these mandatory requirements is step 1. It's the administrative baseline. But take a second and think about the weight of that. Fulfilling stringent military duties requires an immense amount of personal resilience. Navigating bureaucracy, understanding your legal obligations, preparing for massive life disruptions, it takes a major toll. The pressure of getting the logistics right can be incredibly isolating, which actually sets the stage perfectly for the rest of this document.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we transition into Part 3, the lifelines, avenues for mental health support.
This marks a complete pivot in the memo's narrative. We move straight from rigid administrative duty over to the necessary safety nets required to sustain the human being actually performing that duty. That brings us to link number 2, the Veterans Crisis Line. Found at veteranscrisisline.net, this is a dedicated support network targeted specifically at veterans experiencing a crisis. Including this link is a deeply compassionate acknowledgement of the unique, heavy pressures faced by those who have served. It clearly says, hey, specialized support is ready and waiting for those acute, intense moments of need. It's an understanding that service doesn't just magically end when the paperwork is filed. The human impact lingers, and there's a structured safety net built specifically to catch those who might be falling.
Then we have the third link, the SAMHSA National Helpline, accessed via samhsa.gov. This resource broadens the scope of available support significantly. Instead of just focusing on the military, it represents a formalized infrastructure providing broad national support for mental health and substance abuse. It ensures that even if you don't fall into the specific category of a veteran, or if your struggles relate more broadly to substance issues or just general mental health crises, there is still a massive, structured network right there to catch you. It acknowledges that military members and their families are part of the broader civilian fabric too, dealing with those same universal human struggles, and they absolutely deserve comprehensive access to all available national resources.
And this brilliantly illustrates how these resources complement each other. On one side, you have the Veterans Crisis Line, highly targeted, tailored support speaking directly to the unique experiences and traumas associated with military service. On the flip side, the SAMHSA National Helpline provides a much broader, national safety net meant for the general public, tackling everything from mental health emergencies to substance abuse recovery. Together, they create a comprehensive web of coverage. It's a really strategic pairing. No matter your background, your specific service status, or the exact nature of the support you might need on any given day, there is a dedicated avenue ready to help you find your footing.
So the crucial point is brought together in Part 4, your avenues for support, bridging duty and well-being.
By placing a link detailing mandatory military service processing directly alongside 2 major crisis and mental health helplines,
The memo sends a powerful, unified message. It's entirely about fulfilling your obligations while simultaneously recognizing exactly when to step back and ask for help. It really all comes down to this core takeaway. Understanding your administrative obligations is only half the battle. Knowing where to find mental health support is the other. This document treats logistical, administrative processing, and critical human support with equal gravity. It serves as a stark reminder that navigating bureaucratic systems isn't just about what you owe to that system, it's equally about recognizing the resources the system provides to protect, sustain, and support you as a human being.
Because true preparedness means knowing those formal obligations, absolutely, but it just as importantly means knowing your lifelines. When the administrative burden gets heavy, and it will, knowing exactly who to call can make all the difference. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I have to ask you, are you aware of the resources available to you in your own life? Whether you are managing complex duties, navigating rigid bureaucracies, or simply dealing with the everyday pressures of mental health, make sure you have your lifelines readily accessible and know how to use them. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this memo and keep learning out there.